Welcome back. So the goal of these lessons that we're going to do next is to kind of whenever we upload a file to one of these folders, it'll actually end up also generating a thumbnail when the file is uploaded. So that's what we're going to build using Cloud Functions. Now, I want to show you something pretty cool for Cloud Functions here in their documentation. If you go under, for instance, Cloud Firestore, you'll see there's actually one called Extend with Cloud Functions down here. If you click that one, you can actually see some pretty amazing information about how you'll use, for instance, you'll use Cloud Functions to listen for create, update, delete, write, stuff like that. And you can also see some small examples on how you can use this function setup right here. That's perfect. That's a good way to get started with Cloud Functions. Now we want to go into storage. Is there a way of kind of figuring out that as well? And it seems so. There's also one called Extend with Cloud Functions right here. Sweet. So let's just have a look at what we can figure out in here. And there's a lot of great information. Wow, here's something we can use. This is actually an example on how we can actually start using Cloud Functions to make a thumbnail, using something called Image Magic that can convert an image into a thumbnail for us. Nice. Now we could start copying this code and it wouldn't work. They missed a few pieces of information in here that we don't have available right now. So we're going to do something different. We're going to scroll further down and look at the full list of examples down here in the bottom. Now this is an amazing place. Click this guy and see what you get. We're going to GitHub. It's called Firebase Function Samples. And now you have so many awesome samples on how you can implement different things like full text search, generate thumbnail. We can look at LinkedIn authentication. We can look at scripts, that's a weird one, quick starts. So here there's probably a few things we can use. For instance, there will probably be thumbnails again, there'll be uppercase, email user, stuff like that. So there's a lot of different examples in here you can start using. Now again, we're going to go for the one called generate thumbnails. That's the one I want to do right now. So in here, you can see a lot of information again. Some of it is Firebase information, and there's also how you can make this run, this sample right here. So go and test it if you want to. Now we're going to try and put it into our application, right? So we're going to try and have a look at how the code should look. Now I'm going to start out by just going into the functions folder, and there I'm going to go into the index.js folder because that's actually where all the code resides. That's pretty much how you use GitHub normally. So in here, it seems that we have a lot of great code here. I'm going to just copy everything. Doink. And we'll get back to what the code will do for us later on. I'm going to paste it all in here. There we go. And I'm just going to keep, for my code, for now, I'm just going to keep the very, very small thing called if event blah, blah, blah. And the rest is gone, right? So there we go. Now we have all the code available that I pretty much just copied from the site and put over here. Now I'm just going to just keep my code right in here. There we go. So I don't lose that. I'll get back to it later. I'll just call this event. No, I'll actually call this object right here so that it doesn't break the code. There we go. Sweet. So now we have the code available, and it seems we need a few add-ons, a few plugins right here to get our code running. Sweet. Now, how do we figure out which one we need actually? If you don't want to do it manually by saying npm install, npm install, that's fine, but you could also go back here and have a look at this guy's package.json file. That's what we're going to do. In the package.json file, it seems that we need the following dependencies: Google Cloud Storage, something called process promise, McDerp promise, Firebase admin. So he's using all of these guys. I'm going to copy them because I want them in my code as well. And then I'm jumping back to my code and jumping into my package.json file right here. And I'm just going to paste them in here. Whoops! Firebase admin was already there, even with the newer version, so I don't want that in there for now. I'll save this, and I'll pretty much just do an npm install right here. And notice I'm inside the functions folder when I do the npm install. That's very important. And now it'll actually go and grab these for me, and with a single command, I'll get all of this fixed, right? So that's kind of another way of getting your installs if you want to use other people's code, right? Sweet. So now this seems to be running. There's no errors at least. So we're going to just try and push this and see what happens. Let's just try and get this onto Firebase. So we'll jump out one folder. There we go. And then we'll write Firebase deploy only, whoops, minus only functions. There we go. So now it should deploy to Firebase, and we'll just let this run and I'll get back to you guys in a second. So it seems the deployment is now complete. All we have to do is kind of go and test this and see if it works. Let's try and jump into our application right here and see if there's a new function up here or if the function is still available. Generate thumbnail was just added with no executions yet. Sweet. jumping into the storage, we're going to try and upload an image right here. And let's just try and jump into our album files and just upload a file right here. And I'll just pick this guy, the monkey boy, there we go. And I'll just give that a second, there we go, it uploaded it. Going back to functions. Now if this worked, I would already have a thumbnail now in that folder. But if it didn't work, I'll probably get some kind of exception, and that's kind of my expectation for now. So as you'll notice right here, I'm getting an error. No such file directory, service account, credentials, JSON. That's something they don't explain either. So we're going to try and have a look at that in the next lesson. But at least we got something up here. So hopefully we can get this up and running. See you in the next lesson where we'll have even more fun.